Has Jack Hendry been arguably Scotland's best player in the opening 2 games? Maybe Angus Gunn as well, Ben Gannon Doak.
Lewis Ferguson for me.
Of course, Lewis Ferguson. Aye, very good point. Aye.
And in fact, they're crunching the numbers, and there's sheet after sheet of statistics getting thrown about this World Cup. One of the ones that's really impressive is that there's not a player in the tournament that's covered more ground in terms of mileage on the pitch than Lewis Ferguson from the first 2 games. Brilliant. I find that astonishing.
Incredible.
And in fact, Lewis Ferguson was allowed to take the day off training because of that this morning. It was blistering. It's beautiful here in Charlotte today. One of the nicest days we've had weather-wise since we came.
Yep.
I'm sure that Lewis Ferguson's fitness isn't an issue, but because he's clocked up so many miles in the midfield and the hard, powerful running that he's been doing, they decided, the medical staff, you know what, he can take them on and off, well earned, and he has been our best player, our most impressive player thus far, I think.
I think so, and the reason I say that is he's obviously in there as a kind of defensive midfielder. Daniel, that's the role he's got, and in the games he's had to break up opposition play. As Jackal says, he's had to put the miles in to get about the pitch, and be kind of destructive. But I think when Scotland were on top in the Morocco game the other night, he was actually dictating the play for us for the middle of the pitch. He was dominating against a really good team. And there was a lot of talk going into this tournament about Lewis Ferguson, about how he maybe wasn't the player that he'd been at Bologna a couple of years ago when he was voted best midfielder in Serie A. Obviously that bad knee injury. But I think in terms of potential suitors, a couple of years ago, Juve and AC Milan and that were mentioned with him. I think in terms of potential suitors watching this World Cup, he'll have done himself no harm at all.
Do you think he's just taking himself outside the Rangers price?
Well, potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I asked you that today, Scott, didn't I? But during the press conference, I said, has he perhaps played so well that maybe Rangers won't be able to afford him now?
He might have. I mean, if Rangers have any kind of designs they go in for Lewis Ferguson, and we've spoken before about how big an influence Derek McInnes was on him at Aberdeen. If Rangers lose Nico Raskin, would Ferguson come into their thinking? I think he would. But I think he's all right. If he keeps his performances up, and if Scotland go any further in the tournament, then he might. The price is just going to go up and up. I actually spoke to an Italian journalist in the mix zone after the Morocco game and asked if he thought the big Italian clubs would come back in for him, and he said at this stage no, because he felt he'd had a kind of indifferent season at Bologna, and I think we all agree with that. But a lot of that was to do with the coach, is it Italiano, the coach, with the rotation policy. Bologna's got a new coach now, Tedesco. I mean, that's the thing I'm saying. Ferguson will impress potential suitors. He'll also have impressed his new coach that's getting in there. And I think watching him at this tournament, if you're Tedesco, you would think, whatever he's going to try and build it at Bologna. Ferguson, he's obviously captain already, but I think he'll look at Ferguson and think he's going to play a big part in this. But I think clubs will look at him, and there might be bids coming in.
Is that the way you read the situation, Keith? Do you think that perhaps Lewis Ferguson might have priced himself out of a move to Rangers in the sense that he's played so well in the opening 2 games?
It wouldn't surprise you if people are looking and thinking, he's looking kind of back to the sort of player that he was expected to become in Italy, and had become in Italy. But I think, listen, we've had friend of the show, Bill McMurdo, has been on.
Yep.
Don't think for a single solitary second that wee Bill's not all over this like a rash. Trust me on this one. He will be. Look, he said on our show, didn't he, that Lewis will, he said, there wasn't even a doubt about it, he will come back and play for Rangers one day. That's what he wants to do. I think I'd be astonished if Rangers aren't exploring every last opportunity. But you do wonder if he comes onto the radar of some of these bigger clubs that could just come in and brush Rangers aside financially. Rangers would need to work really, really hard to get a financial deal in place that Bologna would see as worth their while. And there's another player at this World Cup, Nico Raskin, that we've talked about that previously from a Rangers perspective. if his price was to go and Rangers get an offer they deem acceptable, then there's ways. There's always a way of doing things and getting deals done if everybody's determined to do it. But yeah, I mean, it's the world's greatest shop window, isn't it? The World Cup. If players come here and deliver and shine, then the world is their oyster. It's
Just checking there. Raskin's also started for Belgium.
Yep.
tonight.
right.
Start
Just
first
about to say
game.
that.
I didn't even
come
know
in.
they were playing right now, Scott.
Yeah.
I'm so sort of in my own bubble now, just walking about. You're pushing me about from one place to the next.